2, 1. Hang on, it's still loading, but it's probably actually recording. It's a little.
No, it's totally recording.
Works. Yeah, it's a weird thing how you.
We are streaming.
Yeah, I was about to say. Now I get to say everything you can and will say during this meeting will be recorded and on the internet forever. So please remember to hold your coronets when cussing.
I don't know. I'm a baroness. I don't have or court baroness. It just is default setting for me to not care.
I haven't had sex in mine yet, so it's like a virgin. I gotta like protect it.
Same here. I'm just not. No.
Don't do it. Jeez.
No.
And that's the opening for the show.
That's where it's going, right there.
We're just gonna get that right out of the way. Just go straight in. Sexy times. All right, getting this going here.
Looking for the link.
I'm sending it. I can message you. Wait, actually, I'll message you on the Facebook thing that we're doing. Okay, I put it up on the Facebook page. So let me get that link. God, Facebook, why do you suck? Why do you suck? It's so hard for me. Alrighty. So
I have hit our 2 posts previous to this, so the links are now live in that.
Yep.
Now I will go share our other one.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
It won't let me share. It won't let me share it.
No. That's okay. Hold on. I'm gonna share it to my page. Let me. So I'll just send you the link directly. Fuck it. We'll just do it this way. I always like we always try to make the pre part of the show actually interesting once it starts, like professional, once we start recording on
I was
YouTube.
about to say, when are we ever professional?
Yeah, but you know how we're always like, yeah, it's up and it's live and everybody's tuning in. And
Yep.
Where's the link? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's not a problem. We got lots of time.
It's authentic.
Yeah, I was about to say we're pretty much we're in the larval stages of developing any of the show, so we don't have like a loading page. We're like, please wait while we share the links and get it out to everybody that follows. We're just like, we're gonna sit here and bullshit.
Yeah. Well, that's like being in an event with us, honestly. Okay, I sent you guys the link. So
Awesome. I'm pulling that right now.
There it is. Yep.
And I'm going to
copy that.
And I see what it did. I see it. I get it now.
And we are off to the races.
Okay.
All right, I'm officially shared. Phone's away. I am 100% with you.
Focus now, young Padawan.
Oh, damn it. I shared it onto our own page because I'm an idiot.
This is where I don't pick my nose, right?
Yeah, don't pick your nose. That'll.
If you want to, Araya, do you want to share it to the West Kingdom group or?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to share the whole thing. Like, let me get it up.
I mean, I've got it up right now. I can just go.
Oh yeah, then go ahead and share to West Kingdom.
Okay.
So, and then we can get rolling.
Yeah, we're live.
Because we're big dorks.
We're live wheel now. Well, the link is out there.
The link is out. We're live.
Okay, people are actually tuning in. Blake is here. He says first. And I'm like, cool. Blake also says the pre-show is fun. It is all part of the charm, part of the service that we provide here. Okay. Okay, so I think we should just get started.
Let's do it.
All right. Since it is in fact 7:01, welcome to Between Two Peers. Today we have His Highness of Oertha, Soren, as our guest host, and the three of us are here to answer your pressing questions about life, the universe, and everything. Please note this episode is sponsored by Moscow Mules, though we think in honor of His Highness Soren, we should be calling them Moose Cow Mules.
Oh.
So, and then today we're going to do a shout out to a sister show of ours, which is Saga Saturday with Dame Kunhild and I cannot say.
Masterina.
What was that?
Masterina.
Yeah, no, that is way above my pay grade.
That's above my pay grade.
Who will be doing their show at 11:30 a.m. Pacific
time.
I was about to say the Pacific Standard Time. I fucking put the wrong one in there.
And we're already off to a stellar start.
We are off to a stellar start as normal.
Yes.
So, but tomorrow, hang on, let me try this again. Tomorrow morning, tune in to Saga Saturday with Kunahild and Ula at 11:30 a.m.
There we go.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. 11:30 Pacific time.
Yeah,
so,
Pacific time.
Intros. I'm Tullia Alori. I have, if you will know already, and this will sound very familiar, but some of you may never tuned in before, so you may not be aware who I am. I am a Laurel in late period costuming, and I've been in the SCA for 27 years. So over half of my life at this point has been in the SCA, and I love it. And I'm a lifer. It's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. I dress like this all the time.
I'm Helga, your other host. I am a knight, a pelican, and a royal peer. I'm pretty much peered at sass and stick talk. I would also like it noted that, she may have joked that she was dressed like this all day. I was actually just running around in my roost pants. They're my new favorite work clothes. So, hang on. I also dropped the F-bomb a lot. And our guest.
Hello everyone. I'm Soren. I'm a knight. I've been in the SCA since 2002, February 2002. It was woke up drunk from playing D&D at Cyrus's house all night to a bunch of people getting in armor, and I had to know what it was about. And here I am now, Prince of Oertha, 2 times. So.
So, and with that, we're going to get rolling right into the questions that were submitted. So we've chosen the top submitted questions, and we'll see if we have time to answer additional questions during the show. So we pick like our top between 8 and 10, and then if we have extra time, we'll just start randomly choosing out of the other questions. If your questions haven't been chosen for this episode, just remember they aren't deleted. We keep saving them so we can use them in future dates. So please keep sending us those questions. We have a hilarious conversation throughout the week of about the questions and how much we're enjoying it. So thank you all very much. And with that, the first question, which is directed for our guest, Tullia, or Mistress Sassy Seamstress, and I will not be answering this one. This comes from Ritter Brian of Bellatrix. For His Highness, I remember you being in finals a number of times before winning your first coronet. Can you point to anything or things in particular that helped you break that barrier?
Don't suck. No. So, yeah, I saw this question come up and I've been thinking about it for a while, and it was a solid question. So I've been excited about answering this one. I was hoping it would come up actually. So 6 times I second placed coronet here. 5 of those times I knew I was going to win. I went into finals knowing that I had the fight, knowing that I could beat the person in front of me without even thinking about it, because I beat them on a pretty constant basis, if not pretty even, 50-50 at practices. And I'll tell you right now, never go into like that. I went in with I had to win. I had to prove myself. I had to be the guy. I had to be the guy who won. And it crushed me every single time because I built so much stuff inside myself to do this. And then I dropped the ball, and to the point where I'd go back to my cabin or my tent or whatever, and I'd cry a little. And it took a while. And what finally snapped was actually it was fighting Skeggy. I got to finals with Skeggy, and I knew that I had lost. I knew it was over. I'm not going to beat a Duke. Come on, not in coronet. And so I went out and I was like, I just got to win one fight so I don't look like a total tool. So I went out, I won the first fight. I was like, okay, cool. And Eleanor reached down on my helmet and she said, go have fun. And everything inside me changed. It was just like, I don't have to win. I don't have to do this. I'd let it go. I went out, I breathed, I took a second, and instead of just having to fight and know the shot that I was going to throw to kill the guy, I just fought a fight, and it broke everything. It changed everything about my fighting style when I did that.
That's actually really useful, I think, in other ways, and not. And something you said actually really resonated with me. I've had some real raw moments myself when consorting, and a lot of emotions. And you go into every single fight as a consort with, no expectations, but every expectation. And so I think when you said that you went in, you're like, this is it, I'm gonna do this, and then you didn't, and then you experienced that, crushing blow, kind of. I really related to that. So I'm not gonna make this all about me, but I want to say also,
all those ones I lost, my opponent straight out beat me. And if I go back and watch those fights, every shot that killed me for that final blow was beautiful shots, well placed, everything. I had that pit bull mentality that I'm gonna win, and the next thing I know, I'm dead and I have to fall down. And I just,
and that's hard. That's hard to have that decisive, you did all you could do. Yep. And you lost. And you lost fair and square.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I've never had a bad fight in any of my finals ever. I absolutely easily lost every single one of those. And so.
What's on that, Helga?
Was that?
I've only ever made it to finals a couple times in small tournaments, and I choked it out yesterday in Kerpo. So actually I want to say that I was super stoked and came into finals really super relaxed and just having fun and kind of stoked that all the workout is working, and then I beat Hanzo once and my brain just went fun. It just fucking left, and I was just like, oh, this is what choking a finals feels like. Damn, there's only 3 of us here and I'm choking this. This is the dumbest thing on the planet now. And then I died to 2 very simple shots like a noob.
I'm proud of you.
That's totally Hanzo. Hanzo will let you fight your fight, and it's beautiful, it's great, and you're like, and he'll just look at you and go, and by the way, you left this open.
Oh yeah, no, it was literally he was leaned back and went smack. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Yep.
No, I thought that was really, really cool. A cool achievement to get to finals, whatever, whether you win.
I can happily boast that I've been to finals in Kerpo where the list was only Dukes.
Exactly. Look on the bright side, right? You were best loser.
Yeah, best loser. Always be the best loser. Shall we get to the co-questions?
Sure. Right. I guess.
Okay. So I need everybody to hang on and get a drink and understand the next question is super serious. And Soren, this question may affect your relationship and the rest of your life.
This the one answer comes from no, she is not getting a kitten.
Okay, there's a problem there.
No, I'm mad at you.
So from Hans von Wolfholtz, dogs or cats?
I'm a dog guy. And I say that, but I absolutely love our cats to a point. My cat, I've never had my very first dog I had was a Pomeranian, and that dog attached himself to me like I've never had a pet. This cat has done that. I am his human. He chose me. And we were going to foster him. That's why his name is Foster, because he was a temporary, we were maxed out. I was like, no more cats, gosh. And then, I don't know, he did the old vampire trick on me, and I was a werewolf, and now I have a cat. So honestly, I'm a dog guy, but I absolutely have no issues with the cats. I love all 5 of them. And if a 6th one was to show up, I'd probably cry a little, but I'd get over it.
A lot of cats.
And I would steal it. I'd steal it from her, and it would love me more.
That's exactly what happens. It becomes a contest on who the cat loves more.
I would like to note that one of the comments on the YouTube live feed is that pretty much Pomeranians are cats anyways.
That's fair enough.
They're very cat-like, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
They're probably one of the more cat-like dogs. But,
yeah.
He
was a good dog, though.
Okay.
Mr. Sassy?
Yes, Sir Danger Muppet. I would have to say I am Team Cat. I am unabashedly Team Cat. I've had cats from the day I was born, and I will have cats until I die, and they are just my favorite critters. Them, I am happy immediately, and they're stupid and ridiculous and natural comedians, and everybody thinks that they're so standoffish and everything, but they have like the greatest little personalities if you just let them be who they are. Yeah, and it always feels super special. Like a dog will come up and love you no matter who you are. Like there's probably 99% of the time the dog will just be like, you are a monkey, I love you. But to have a cat accept you, you feel really special. Right now my cat likes my boyfriend more than me, so
I would like to note that Noodle also likes Zeus more than the rest of us.
Zeus and the Noodle were Helga's co-dog. I don't know, like what do you
my foster dog.
Foster dog, yeah.
He
and my cat, they developed a really weirdly like dysfunctional bond.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I should technically say we have 4 cats and we're housing Skeggy's cat.
Yeah, we're thinking about getting kittens, actually. So the question about kittens is a timely one because Jeffrey
love kittens. I love kittens. Cats are okay. I love kittens.
I know, they're just tiny, furry little like chaos.
No, I just want to hold them and pet them and flip them up and make them do the little bat.
I'm sorry, that was the baseline serial killer face right there of like, I love you so much.
But yeah, so one day you've got to get Jeffrey Scott to explain his what is it? It's like the cat algorithm where one night before Crapeau, he loves cats, so he's definitely a cat guy, and he was like chatting with me about all the cats, and he was telling me all the cats he's owned in great detail, and I was fascinated because I'm also a cat person, and but he tells me it's like there's this algorithm that he's worked out about how you get 3 cats, so you get an adult cat and 2 kittens, and so the 2 kittens keep the adult cat young, get longer, and then when the adult cat eventually passes away, you have 2 older cats. One will probably die before the other, and that's when you get 2 more kittens. And he's like, the system is how he's worked it out for years.
Because Jeffrey Scott is always going to mathematically deal with anything.
Yeah,
put the algorithm down.
Yes.
It was great.
Eleanor was basically, well, I don't have that color. All right, we'll get that color now.
So I'm a terrible person. I'm team dog. So actually, I'm team dog, but I'm also hardcore team barn cat.
Yeah, okay,
like
farm girl, hello.
Yeah, there is nothing better than a sassy as fuck barn cat that will cut you, but also bring you ice.
Kind of exactly how you are as a person.
That's fair statement.
That's 100% a fair statement, and I'm not sure how to respond to that. But I've had dogs all my life, and so they're like my weird companions. But I've also had dogs that don't love everybody. You know, I grew up with 14 bear dogs, and so I had 14 Airedales in the house with me as a child. I was unstoppable, and the UPS man thought I was the devil. Because, you know, as a toddler, when you have 14 bear dogs that have decided that you're just one of the bear dogs, they'll fuck anybody up if you point them at them.
Yeah, that actually also makes a lot of sense and explains a lot about you.
And it's quite frightening.
Yeah.
I'm just a poor old city boy here, so.
Yeah, I'm a city girl too, so I'm just like, you know, golden retriever down the street.
City boy that fed his moose potatoes. That's not actually.
I did have a pet moose. Yes, in a way.
I was about to say that kind of hucked you right out of city boy. Like, out of like
it's a city moose. We have lots of them.
To be fair.
Okay.
Elsie thinks we only have 3 and that we move them around after we show them.
Anchorage is a city.
Your guys' idea of city is like the small town I grew up in. Okay, I've been to Alaska a couple times, and driving even downtown, I'm like, oh look, it's a skyscraper in the middle of the 2,000 person population town that I grew up in. That's very interesting.
That's why I tell people when they first come here, I'm like, welcome to Anchorage. This is our big city, what you call a suburb.
Yeah, pretty much actually. Like,
I will say, like, Anchorage is fabulous, and I cannot wait to get back. You guys, like, everyone always said, 'cause I'd never been to Alaska before last June when we had Jim Crown there. That was the first time, and people were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna want to go back. Like, it's fabulous. The people are fabulous. The food's fabulous. The scenery is just like will blow your mind straight out of your head." Like,
yeah, we're pretty blessed and pretty lucky for what we have.
You guys totally delivered, so consider me coming back.
Your woman just messaged me, barn cat.
Barn cat. I don't have a barn, so technically, if we get a shed, she can have a barn cat.
That's a shed.
Is it like a she shed?
Slightly different.
We'll keep it inside where it's warm. How about that?
Okay. Would you like to read the next question, or shall I?
Yes. Okay. From Sir Valora. Sorry.
Valora.
Apparently, I'm not the only one having problems with like words today. What is the hardest SCA concept that you struggle to understand? What do you think is the hardest SCA concept for a newcomer to understand? So kind of a two-parter.
Well, for a newcomer, it's peerages. Growing up here in Oertha, we were very, very small, and there was 2 knights. There was Kilson and Georg, and I was basically Team Georg. I was, that's where I was taught with. I was trained with. So we went over here. We were over here. So peerage to me was, other than knights, I had no idea what the rest really meant. And it was just like, okay, cool. So for me, royal peerage has been kind of hard to go through. It's a lot of fun. The back end work, the hidden stuff is, I just want to be the guy that gives awards. I want to be the guy to show up and yay, the prince, yay. But sometimes you got to do work on the other side. And I'm very thankful that I've got a highly intelligent wife who helps me with that side. So that's a struggle part for me.
Yes.
Now, I think for me, the part that I struggle with, that's kind of really the SCA, really just deals with the SCA in itself, the hardest SCA concept. I don't know if I struggle to understand it, but I struggle to enact it and personify it and like behave it. And that's the graciousness. Like, how do you continue to be gracious when everything in your entire fiber of every part of your body is screaming, fuck you? Like, and how do you just go, it's like flames on the side of my face, like that kind of thing. I've had that moment numerous times, and to be able to stand back and be like, yes, I will take that into consideration, and not just really want to like fucking destroy the person in front of you, who 9 times out of 10 you actually like, you just have a disagreement with on some like weird little political thing or something. So it's not really that I don't understand it, because I totally understand it. It's just really hard for me to personify it or to put it into action. So as far as the hardest concept for a newcomer, I'd say like the entire structure, just flashing back to when I started, the entire structure of the SCA is wacky. It's like, it's on one side of things, it's a meritocracy. You get awards for things you do. You get recognition for worthy service in some way or another. And I think for the most part, that actually stands up, that actually holds up across the board. There are instances where it doesn't. There are instances where people fall through the cracks. And I kind of take it as my job as a peer to try to find those people that are falling through the cracks and try to make sure that I can put that, little bit of that word in the right person's ear to make sure that person gets seen. I kind of think that that's my most important job as a peer, which is not really the question it's asking, but I just felt I needed to say it. But to like flash to the entire structure of the SCA, where you have this award system that is merit-based and for the most part works pretty well. And then at the other side of it, though, the people in power are the people who win through force. It's not meritus. It's not really like, I mean, I guess in a way it's like who's the best fighter, but it's kind of it's kind of hard for, I think, for people when they first encounter the SCA to kind of make that mistake. And I think past that, yeah, like, you know, what does a prince look like? What coronet do they wear? What does the king's crown look like? What's the difference between a coronet and a crown, for God's sake? Like, you know, all that stuff that's the weird shit that we get, you know, deep level into when you encounter it almost immediately as a new person in the SCA, and it can be like drinking from the fire hose. So
yeah, no, that's fair. That's actually really true, because this follows me back to my first Estrella, running around. It's actually with Helga and a couple others, and we come walking past, and these two people walk, and they've got these crowns on them. They're probably 1.5 feet, 2 foot tall, and I'm just like, oh! I just stopped cold. I'm like, oh, Your Majesty, and he just stopped me and looked. He goes, I'm a baron, and walks off, and I'm just like,
oh yeah, that's another thing too, that even as someone who is pretty well versed in Western tradition, like, you know, being in the West Kingdom.
We lost her.
Oh no. She paused.
Oh no.
We're waiting.
Yeah.
At least she didn't freeze in a terrible facial
That's pretty sassy, though.
It's a sassy facial expression, but it isn't like just one of those ones where you're just like, you look like you're about to take the biggest dick of your life. Just like,
I was gonna say dump, but yeah. But fair. I think we lost. No.
Discussing her freezing out, by the way, is like the best thing ever, because I'm watching it like 20 seconds behind.
Yeah.
I might have to PM her and be like, hey, you have frozen. Are you still alive?
Oh, she just crashed.
Ah, shit.
Ooh, 1-on-1. No.
Oh, it's just you and me now. She should reload here in just a second.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, everyone. We apologize for this. Please stand by.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can also answer the question while we're waiting.
Sure.
And so for me, I think the most difficult thing for newcomers is, especially being Western, is the kingdom's culture, amusingly enough. So the West is like pretentiously unpretentious, where you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a royal peer. So like there's already the like, what's a coronet, what's a crown, what's a prince, what's a king. So it's actually really hard as a newcomer to like fish through that. Like, I swear to God, we need name tags occasionally where it's like, this is a newcomer, and then you need to run around to all the like royals and just like stick. Okay, cool. Now we're gonna go introduce you, and now you can see all the coronets.
It was Ula that was doing that welcome to the SCA thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yay!
Hey, you're back. So I'm answering the question right now.
And she's back.
And so that's really good.
Yeah. Welcome back to the group. So we got to make fun of the facial expression that you left on for a little while.
It was
actually, like we were saying, that it's actually a relatively nice one. It's very sassy and like pointed, but it isn't like it looks like you're taking a big fat dick to the face. Like, so you were good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't even remember what but I'm sure it was highly profound, and y'all just listened to me ramble for like.
So mine actually, I was agreeing with you guys about the like, it's the pretentiously unpretentious of like the West Kingdom of like, what's a crown, what's a coronet, what's a duke, what's a duchess. I think that's the hardest concept, at least it was for me. Figuring out peerages was actually pretty easy, because it was like, oh, bird, pelican, leaf, laurel, and all you guys have done something. Knight, super easy to spot. Also occasionally total dicks. So moving on. I think the hardest concept for me to grasp in the SCA, I'm like trying to like, that's actually a really solid question and a little evil. Yeah. I think the hardest concept for me is actually reverence, amusingly enough. I saw behind the curtain for so long that for a while I lost the dream about the reverence. So I lost faith in what like this means or what yours means or anything else like that, because I had so many friends reigning just back to back to back to back to back. And then I got to see all the bullshit. And so the hardest concept for me to like grasp onto was the idea of the dream and the faith behind the coronets. And it took reigning to find it again.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point though. You get so deep into how the sausage is made that you no longer have kind of a detachment, an awe about it. And one of the things actually I think that the quarantine is kind of doing, at least for me, is that it's giving me a chance to step back and find that passion and that awe again. It's a forced time out in a way, and I kind of, as awful as it is, kind of am appreciating what it's allowing me to do in terms of this hobby.
See, and I'm fearfully kind of following the other direction. Sorry.
I was about to say, Sarah, change your name.
Oh. So back to me, I'm actually falling the other way. I was starting to work out all the time with Sebastian and Angela. So working out, the body was changing, fighting was changing. I was starting to find the fun again, and cold smacked with COVID.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been depressed to a point. So I'm very happy for this, because this kind of encouraged me. Okay, I got to go dig a post hole. I got to put a pell pull in. I got to start doing something, or I'm just going to be a fat bastard on the other side, and I don't want to be. So yeah.
No. All right, we ready for the next question?
I think so.
Okay.
I think you, Helga.
This one's from Ghislaine, who sent us a list of fucking amazing questions, by the way. Have you ever made a fuck you outfit or accessory?
Say it again.
Have you ever made a fuck you outfit or accessory?
Okay. Can I throw myself on this one first? Because I think I know exactly what it is. Because I can kind of explain. The answer, yes, absolutely. Almost everything that I sew is in some way or another a fuck you to somebody, because I'm actually a terrible person. And when people tell me I can't do something, I'm like, bitch, I can. And I will. And you'll suffer. But, well, yeah. But I think that there's like the idea, ask most laurels or artists and they'll probably understand this concept of I got angry about something, and so I'm going to show those bastards that I can do it. And I think that's how I interpret it. And yeah, a lot of the stuff that I made, especially on my path to peerage, was definitely well, they think I'm not good enough. All right, then. Let me show up in 1580s like crazy wheel farthingale skirts out to here and hair up to here, and suck it, bitches. That was a lot of what I was like about 15 years ago.
I'm pretty sure you're still like that.
Yeah, but my outfits are smaller now. I'm doing all of this early Slavic stuff, and it's far more comfortable, and so I'm less pissed off all the time. Weirdly, if I'm not wearing like 80 million layers of clothing and a 300-degree Fahrenheit event in the middle of nowhere with no shade, I'm a lot happier as a human being. Turns out.
What? It's okay.
You kind of understand what that question comes from, Soren?
A little bit, I guess. I can't honestly say I have. So I don't make a lot of things other than things I need, like armor and stuff. So
okay, so I can use a fantastic example from a fighter. At one point, Hans as an unbelt cut off all the strapping on his armor and replaced it with white leather. He was the angriest of unbelts.
Oh, precious.
So nothing like that. You have been the mellow on your career.
No, I have not. That's a great idea. But no, I guess no, I have not.
Nice. He's the mellow one out of us tonight.
I guess so. That's a little scary, but yeah.
So my fuck you is actually not. I mean, I think it counts as an accessory. There's two fuck yous. One, every shield I paint has a dick in it.
What? No way.
100%. And the reason why it has a dick in it is the fact that I got told by a group of laurels when I was doing a Greek shield that I could not put the proper endowments into the shield because we are a family organization. And
well, clearly that wasn't me you were talking to. I'm like,
hang on. So thus I respected it because I actually get that. Like, I want to make sure that kids and families all feel safe and happy with us. Like, that's actually a huge thing. And so I drew every one of those dicks on those guys and then just painted over them. So they're all there, proper, like, just censor barred. And so now I actually design in something in every shield that if you look, you can find a dick.
Well, now I'm going to look at all your shields.
All my shields have weird dicks in them.
I'm now ordering a shield.
Just so you know, there will be a dick in your shield at some point. And so the other fuck you is I had somebody very specifically tell me, if you're dressing like a boy, you can't wear makeup.
What?
And so you can tell in my first reign that I, every weekend, got a little bit more goth.
I remember was this the Principality reign, as princess? Yeah, I remember that being a whole thing, like, Helga's gonna wear a skirt, and it was like, let the woman wear what she wants.
I actually agreed to that, but it was one of those things where I got told, like, oh, if you're wearing boy clothes, you shouldn't wear makeup, and I was like, nah, I can wear makeup. We're anachronistic, and I'm good with that, and it makes me feel fucking pretty.
You are pretty. You are very pretty. Like, you wear boy clothes and it's cute, and who cares? Like, Jesus.
Well, and also all my boy clothes actually are cut for tits because, like, if you're gonna have them, you might as well use them.
Fair.
My whole thing, and this flashes on the my laurel soapbox. I don't want to say this is my soapbox right now, but this is getting close to a soapbox for me, and that is the fact that people who, particularly laurels, who try to police what other people are allowed to wear. And it comes down really strongly on royalty, because that's the point where I think royalty, especially new royalty, may feel a little bit beholden to an image, and it's not fair. And they also come after new people as well. And that's another thing that I really, really, really rankle with. Like, shows up in the completely anachronistic, modern, big, beautiful gown with like a 20-foot train, and it's made out of incorrect materials, and who the hell cares? Does that person feel pretty? Is that all that matters? Yes. That's all
literally
that matters.
Yeah.
That happened to my wife, our second or third event. Her and her mom, so I met her at our local Ren Fair, actually. She lived in a condo association of where my mom lived. My mom lived up in one place and she lived on another. And they got talking about the Ren Fair and stuff. And she's like, oh, I do this. She's like, oh, my son does this. And and ta-da. So yeah, I stole her from the Ren Fair. Her and her mom had made this beautiful dress, and there was a zipper on the back, And so it was like her second or third event, and someone literally walked up and literally said, who the fuck puts a zipper in a dress? And it literally made her cry because her mom spent hours on that thing, and it was beautiful.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a pretty hard one.
I'm getting PMs of people trying to find the dicks on their shields now. This pleases me so greatly, actually.
I want to just go back to this, though. I just think people should wear what makes them feel good.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have a peerage and you're walking up to somebody and scolding them for something, also, and then there's also the weird kind of like flip side of this, which is you may think you're helping, and you're actually not. You're actually saying something hurtful to somebody that spent a lot of time on, the outfit that they wore, or something that they took a lot of, personal risk and courage to wear in public, because it's different than what they're, used to wearing or what they think they should be wearing. But the SCA allows for a lot of personal freedom in what we, allow in the society in general. And so you may get, like, I think of an example, one of a personal example, actually, which is I had huge body issues as a young woman. Hi, welcome to Western civilization and being female in it. And I used the opportunity in the SCA to kind of push the boundaries where I was comfortable with. And I had a couple of times, like people would come up to me and be like, you know, belly dancing, dress, like, you know, like a, basically it would be kind of a vaguely perioid looking top and belt and skirt, you know, and they would just be like, you know, that's not what they really wore back then. And dude, it's a huge personal expression moment for me to walk out of my tent in public wearing something that is that exposed. Can you not be a dick about it? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've been snarked a number of times. I think it, you know, it's kind of a rite of passage, and I think it's shitty. And I try to really maintain a certain level of, does this person actually want my help, or do they just want my approval? And understanding the difference is key, I think, in just anybody, not just being a peer, but specifically when you're a peer. Otherwise, you end up as that asshole Laurel really fast.
My whole armor set is based off of a modern drawing that somebody drew in a book that they thought the armor looked like. I went, "Ooh, that's cool," and I built it, and I wear it, and I don't care. Come fight me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. All right, so we ready to roll to the next one?
Sure, let's do it. Let's see. This one. This one's mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is from Sir Gar. How or what changed in your motivation to achieve your rank/position from when you remember deciding to start towards it? Or put another way, what driving force changed when you realized it would not work? How did you grow?
I have a terrible answer to this.
You want to answer it?
I'll start off, and it's pretty fucking simple, and anybody can ask me follow-up questions later. I went from hero worship to owning myself and putting spite sprinkles on everything. Because fuck you. With love and honor and all the knightly virtues. But I knocked all my heroes off a pedestal. I realized that I couldn't be them. And so I better be myself. And I realized a part of that problem is the last hero to fall, and I have a huge speech about this, the last hero to fall is the hardest because they're our last moment of hope. It's like losing your last piece of innocence as a child. Our last hero, even if they are close people, and even if the problem isn't that big, it becomes the moment in time of change. And so they're marked with it for the rest of their life. And so, one, you must always forgive your last hero. Because they're a lesson in your life. So forgive them because they were probably telling you that they were that way anyways, and that was just the moment you saw it. And in finding yourself, I believe that everybody should actually go through the angry unbelt stage, because that angry unbelt stage is losing your last hero and starting to own your shit and then settling into who you are. And a lot of times there's anger. And so I lost my last hero, knocked him off the pedestal. I realized I couldn't hero worship. I couldn't be any of them. Fuck, I didn't want to be any of them. I wanted to be myself. I put spite sprinkles on everything because they just taste better that way. It's sweetness and light. And then I started owning myself, and that's when I became a peer.
Soren, you want to go?
Sure. I knew for a fact I was never going to see knighthood, especially from here. We were such a small pool, and I knew for a fact. It wasn't even a thought. Actually, my whole joke with Cyrus was, it was ha 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 ha, because he was like, I'm never getting knighted. I was like, well, if you ever get knighted, I'll be your squire. And he ha 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 ha. And then he got knighted and literally walked over to me, handed me a red belt, and said, "Don't you ever effing embarrass me," and walked away. And I was a squire. And I'm just like, this is Cyrus. You know, this is my best friend. I was joking, but I'm not. So I had a lot of him and haws. And again, I knew even as a squire, I'm going to be that squire at 60, and just knew that I was not going to be. And I don't know where that changed. I can never, that magic moment. It was even when we were pulled into the room and asked to join the chivalry, I didn't believe it. And until the hand come across my face, I didn't believe it. And then I felt like I had failed as that knight so many times until I finally found, like, I guess, like she said, kind of found my sprinkles and said, I can't be this person. I can't be this guy. I can't take, I'm not them. I'm me. So I had to find my own way through that path. And once I did that, I think I've done okay. I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of about my answer as well, honestly, is that there's a point you reach when you're on your path, whatever that path is. I'm going to just use the peerage path as an example, because we've all kind of used it, you guys as knights, me as a laurel. But I think it goes for any kind of. Oh, Raya, what are you doing?
I was handing over the vodka.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the whole thing with just understanding that it's an individual process and it's an individual path that you tread. It's similar to other people's, and other people will try to coach you along the way or give you like specific advice that they think is helpful. It can be completely like ego destroying and self-destructive. But the real thing is you've got to reach a point where you're just, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And if that doesn't work for you guys, the peerage, whatever peerage or group or whatever it is that you're talking about, then I'm not going to stop being who I am. I'm not going to try to be inauthentic to who I am in order to satisfy this like artificial list of requirements that, are nebulous and nobody can agree on anyway. So it's a little freeing, and I definitely reached that point. I absolutely did. I think about 1.5 to 2 years before I was offered, I was like, I think I mentioned this on a previous show, actually, that was a joke. It was a running joke in my friend group of, whose dick do we got to suck in order for Sarah to get laureled? And I didn't even start that. That was my friends who knew what like torture I was like beating myself up over in order to get that cookie. And I finally, like it was probably about a year before I got offered, I was just like, this is stupid. I am killing myself. I'm wrecking my body. I am hurting myself psychologically and emotionally, and I'm breaking myself over coals constantly. And I just may never get this thing. And you know what? That's okay, because I'm still, I think I'm a really good costumer. And if I feel like I'm there, that's all that matters. And weirdly enough, I guess that's all it really took. And I'd say that, and I hate that when Laurel say, just stop like beating yourself up over your art so much or whatever. And it's like, it'll happen when it happens.
Yep.
It's fucking true. And that's hard to let go of. But
I guess, yeah, finding that moment where I couldn't make everybody happy. Yeah. That was the hardest thing for me, because I wanted to be everybody's friend. I wanted everybody to be my friend. I wanted to be able to just go anywhere and hang. You can't do that. That just doesn't work. You can be polite, you can be proper, but you're not going to be friends with everybody. And that was a magic moment, finding that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to move on to the next one?
I think so. I think that's good.
Oh, I believe we have had the Lady of the Lake.
Oh, it's gotten serious.
This is serious business here, people.
Yes, that's Lady of the Lake.
Can I just say, this is one of my favorite parts about this show.
No, seriously.
I was wondering. I figured about 5 minutes ago it was going to show up.
My favorite part is watching her scoot underneath the banners. Okay, the Lady of the Lake asks, what is your spirit animal?
Oh.
Or is it your emotional support animal?
No, what's your spirit animal like?
Araya.
Oh God, I would like to know that she's just.
Sir, honestly, it's a moose.
The Lady of the Lake would like to say that she is a murder weasel.
She is a murder weasel.
Yes, she is in fact a murder weasel.
I'm gonna have to say it's a moose. I definitely gonna have to say a moose.
Moose.
If you ever watch me fight and you ever watch a moose fight, they're pretty close. It's kind of terrifying and goofy all at the same time. And the little leg comes up. I pop my little legs up. It's like I'm trying to walk through over a fence.
Is it really just this?
Yeah, I just kind of pop up and
like literally
they go weird ways, and I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I get through the woods okay.
Together, and then you get it.
I'm just gonna Google moose fighting videos right now.
Oh man.
It'll be like Soren.
So what is one of my spirit animals? Well, I'm totally with the danger weasel, actually, because I'm obsessed with ferrets. And wolverines, because, well, I mean, if anything, if I was going to try to come back as something, it would probably be a wolverine of, like, highly intelligent, also into starting shit, and can survive most things.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I want to be a city moose. I don't get shot or eaten. And I can eat pumpkins and get drunk. That's a pretty good life.
Run over by a car? Well, you take the car out, though, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, like, you don't get run over by the car.
The car,
run
over the car.
The car, it's like
everyone ends
up.
Don't
get run over by car. Car get run over by moose.
Yes, kind of.
I think my spirit animal is, I'm gonna have to go with like the obvious. Okay, no, I'm gonna go with two. You guys tell me which is more appropriate: cat, house cat, pampered house cat, or some sort of corvid. Like a raven or a crow, probably a crow.
No, I pretty much see you as that nice little cat that lays in the, oh, look, a sunbeam.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I'm actually going to put a caveat. As a person that has had a crow for a pet, I'm going to totally say that you're a house crow. Because those little motherfuckers are feathered house cats.
Yeah, they are. And they're
with emotional problems about stealing shiny shit, which define. So, you are just you're a house corvid.
Somebody rescued me as a little chick and like raised me and hand fed me and like got me accustomed to a lifestyle.
Ooh, shiny.
I'm entitled to it now.
Shiny.
Where are my mealworms? Where are they?
What the right now I'm actually trying to text Thorfinn and be like, will you bring me another cocktail for fuck's sake? And he is doing the Thorfinn thing and just ignoring the shit out of his text messages. So no, I don't get one.
Well, shall we move on?
Thorfinn, get her a drink.
Not watching.
Move on to the next question.
Yeah. We've only made it to like 6, and we've got like another 25 minutes left. So let's do this.
Yeah. All right, Kunahild sent in the next question. An art or craft you've never done but would love to try.
Say it again.
An art or craft that you have never done but you would love to try.
That I've never done?
Yep, I'm going to go with weaving because I've never played with string things, and I would.
I love weaving. Weaving. Oh, yeah. Actually, if I can say one thing is I have woven. Part of my degree in textile design was
wow.
Yeah, it was a whole several semesters of weaving. If I could get a floor loom in this place, it would be so on. It is so soothing. The repetition of the heddles and the breaker, the beater, and like the shuttle and all that stuff, and you just get in this rhythm, and you're like, suddenly you understand a lot about humanity. It's a really wonderful thing. So
nice.
Cool.
All right. And for you guys?
Soren?
So I would like doing scrolls. I have worse handwriting than most doctors, and I can draw really, really bad stick people. So I would actually but I enjoy painting. One of my hobbies that you see on my Facebook is I love painting miniatures. It's kind of a cathartic release. It's just kind of something I love to do. So so I think I'd like to get on and try painting some. I know I can't do calligraphy because again, I write horrible. So, but I think I could probably get in there and probably paint by number. Soren, paint by number. So You know, I would definitely like to try that.
I can totally tell you what you need to pick up so you can actually practice painting by numbers and do illumination stuff. Because amusingly enough, I used to do a bunch of that in college, and then taught a group of people how to do it through light boards. And so we can geek out after the show about it.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is light boards are your friend. The way you learn how to draw is by tracing, and everybody kind of shits tracing as like cheating. Honestly, it's a lot of copying off of something you already you like, a thing you like. You try to copy it, and then you can trace it, and then you get that hand-eye coordination to start to learn how to make that work. But for me, God, I don't know. I think honestly, I would say weaving, even though I've tried it, but it's prohibitive at this moment in time, because it's one of those things that takes up a lot of space. Yes, you can get like a tabletop loom, and you can do little 18-inch wide weavings and stuff like that on that. You can also do a tablet weaving, all that sort of stuff. But I crave something on a like molecular level. Really crave to have a floor loom, to be able to just do yardage, and that would be yardage.
If you come back up here, we have a 48-incher sitting downstairs.
Hi, I know.
It's an 8-heddle, 15-pedal, 48-inch.
Soren and I can fight and then drink afterwards. You and Nicole can go weave.
Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay,
there is a whole entire downstairs that is her weaving room. I'll send you pictures after. It's absolutely beautiful.
Well, we're close on time, so shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I want to add, since that is from Kunahild,
yeah,
I'd like to learn languages and understand languages a little more, because watching her do those poetries is like, I just sit there and watch it like a 4-year-old. It's research.
All right. So the next question, would you like to read that one, or shall I?
I'll read it. So it's by Ryan Shepard, who, I'm sorry, I don't know your SCA name because I don't think I know you, but yeah, and your Facebook doesn't have it as like an alternate name. So anyway, Ryan, hi, how you doing? What is your favorite flavored curse word that you would use to describe a jerk?
Cockwaffle.
You fuck nugget.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is
probably my favorite
nugget?
driving word.
That's actually the next question. What is a fuck nugget?
What's a
like?
Does it matter?
So, to me, driving is the second easiest thing to do with your clothes on, next to walking, and just follow the rules of the road. Drive. You don't have to speed. And I'll never be mad if you do the speed limit, but use your flipping turn signals. Turn signals. Oh my God. I own a BMW motorcycle and I use my turn signals.
Yeah.
I know they're an option. They come with the car. And merging. We cannot merge up here to save our lives.
Oh, that's a problem up here too. So we're down here. Yeah.
So Sarah, what's your answer to that one?
I honestly like foul word plus waffle is a really, really like effective, whatever it is, twat waffle, cock waffle, arse waffle.
I would like to note I'm loved way more.
What? But I really think it's, you know what though, honestly, I'm going to go with, actually right now, this is oddly wholesome for me. Thorfinn got me onto using dingus and ding dong.
Oh yeah. Nice and simple and clean, and you can go from
dong. Yeah, ding dong's a favorite. Yeah.
And all I hear, like when I'm working with clients, I hope none of them ever find this, but some clients you're just like, you fucking ding dong, like what, like it's really good. Dingus, like my cat's being a dingus. These are really wholesome yet actively really useful words to have in your life.
I just want to get like foul. Like, that's my thing, where I want to get foul enough that, like, the entire party stops and just looks at me to be like,
you are really good at that.
How fucked up are you?
Yes.
Okay, let's move forward. Because now we're in the countdown zone, and I've got to do a whole thing.
So of the countdown zone, I say that we choose the bonus question or question 10.
Okay, let's see. Okay, that one's pretty funny. Bonus question. Actually, I think you should do the bonus question.
All right.
The bonus question. Yeah.
So our bonus question tonight, because we are running short on time, our bonus question tonight comes from Karen. What is the most interesting thing you have seen occur on a battlefield? This does not need to be during the actual fighting. It can be something that allegedly occurred.
Nut shots with pikes.
Oh. Yeah, that's not even allegedly occurred. I've watched that.
I still don't get that. There is 2.5 feet between the two heads, and this thing is shiny. Why do you got to aim for that? I'm going to call this. I swear. I'm going to call this. That and charging through a line and watching bodies fly and people laughing about it has been kind of amazing. That people are like, that was a great takedown.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going totally for something that allegedly occurred. My favorite thing, and so this rant occurred on the first show. I need to understand that we're going to back up to that for a moment. And everybody needs to realize that the battlefield is where everybody fucks.
Oh, yeah, that's not alleged, though.
That's for real.
That is for fucking real. Like, everybody fucks on the battlefield, okay?
Why do people
Pretty much, if you've been in the SCA at any moment in time, you've walked across a battlefield and seen white butt cheeks, okay? Just gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're in the good peeing places, too.
That's
I caught a set of royals one night.
That's
hats on.
Always peas on the battlefield.
I know that's
no. I'm saying that my allegedly occurred. Yeah. I was trucking across the battlefield and I caught a set of royals, hats on, banging on the hay bales.
What? I never
made
have
eye contact.
Stories.
Gave them the thumbs up. Kept going. Had breakfast with them the next morning.
Oh, good times. Were they our royals?
I am not going into any details.
No names. No names.
What the fuck that was. However, I will give you one thing of, again, this is from the first show we were asked of, like, things you should know about having sex in the SCA. Do not put your wool coat down on the hay bale to fuck on the hay bale. When you go back to the party and your wool coat is covered in hay, everybody knows you were fucking.
Everyone knows.
Everybody knows. That is like a big, giant thing of, you were just banging on the hay bales, weren't you?
Wipe your chin. Wipe your chin.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
that's just beard style.
Just wipe your chin.
Oh my god, PTSD happening right here. Yeah, the guy with the beard who wants to lean in and give you a kiss, and you're like,
"You smell like pussy."
Not sexy.
No. That goes back to last session. Brush your teeth.
Yes. Yeah. Also. Yeah, definitely brush your teeth, for God's sake. Okay.
Everything rolls back to wash your balls, brush your teeth.
And clean your beard, for fuck's sake. I would like to add.
We haven't heard your alleged story yet. We might even have another time for another question.
So I don't fight, and I haven't really spent a lot of times hanging around battlefields other than to see my boyfriend peeing on them in the middle of the night, because it's the kind of an asshole he is. But all of those things are true that we've just discussed. So let's go on to the next. When I think of one,
sorry.
All right. Do you think do we have enough time to get through the two? Because I think 10 would be great to end on.
Yeah, I think probably at least do one more if that doesn't set us off on a big long.
Okay, so I'm gonna give us the one that might give us the big long tangent.
Okay.
So, a question I posed actually, because the three of us I think can discuss this relatively well, is how do you deal with peer fear?
How do we deal with it now versus how do you deal?
You can answer at any point in your career. Okay. How do you, or how have you dealt with peer fear?
Okay, Your Highness.
Oh, throw me under the bus. This is pretty personal for me because I had tremendous peer fear, especially in fighting. If I saw a belt or a chain, I would just stand there like a pale pole. How did I deal with it? I still deal with it. I still struggle with it. I don't know. That is a fantastic question. How do you deal with it?
That's really interesting.
I think I know that no one out there is there to hurt me. And I know, except that they are. So I don't know. I still kind of deal with it a little bit. Even with this hat on, I still do it a little bit. So that's a good one. I'll have to.
I like how he's like, I'm going to come back to this later. I'll make a post about it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make a post on that one because that's a hard one to answer.
I mean, I find that actually interesting that you say that you still feel it because you're in the upper echelon of the society right now, and to me, never having been in your situation, it feels to me as if a little bit more like I might, if I'm putting myself in your place, I might be more afraid of how I'm perceived as a peer, and that's like a whole other kind of like, or not even peer, but like a sitting royal, how that perception affects me. But yeah, that's an interesting answer, Your Highness. I want to unpack it later.
Yeah, my biggest fear is embarrassing this and embarrassing the populace that supports this. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest fear out of all of this. I'll stand toe to toe to any fighter, any other Pell or Laurel, and discuss stuff and learn things and have a wonderful time. But as Prince, you're doing this for a segment, and then you've got to live with that the rest of your life. So if you do it really good, you'll live with that the rest of your life. If you really F it up or you do something really bad, that's never forgotten. The populace will never forget. And so that is a fear, that's my biggest fear is screwing this up. Mm-hmm. and making, because your good reigns are easily forgotten, but that bad reign, they'll talk about it for 20 years.
Fucking lifetime, man.
For 20. Do you remember when so-and-so did? I was like 19. Yeah, that was 2006, dude. Yeah.
People that are talking about shit that happened in 1970.
So that's mine. That's my biggest fear is that.
All right. So I'll actually say for me, peer fear is so many people probably like, so for as big and bold and brash as I am and all the other bullshit, jerk, whatever, like we're going to move on from that. Like we understand I'm an obnoxious asshole. I struggle with too much or too little. So the never-ending mental emotional cycle of either I'm too much or I'm not enough. And so how I got over my peer fear is being afraid and doing it anyway. Because you really, really quickly learn that the peers are just as insecure as you are. And if you actually approach it that way, you will very quickly find out that most of the peers that you meet are like, oh, you actually like want to talk to me and like hang out? This is awesome. Because all of us, and so the SCA fails at something very, very big, we do not set our teachers up for success because we go from being a student to assumed master by a couple words from the king. Like, that's it.
That's fair. Yeah.
In the moment in time, you go from being a student to being an assumed master at what you do. There is no transitional training period of like, welcome to being a TA, welcome to doing this. Like, you go along and you're like, cool, I'm a student. Then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I'm a Laurel or a Pal or a Knight. And now people assume I know what the fuck I'm doing. I can guarantee every peer is more insecure than any newcomer because we feel we have to live up to something. And as soon as I realized that, I could approach any knight about training or anything else like that because they actually want to give the knowledge, and most of them will assume they are not worthy of it yet. Most teachers in the SCA will not assume they are worthy of having a student yet. And so if you approach them like that, of, you know, hey, I want to drink, or I want to talk about the subject, or I want to like learn to fight or something like that, that peer will just be like, oh, aren't you the best thing ever? Oh my God. Can we talk more? Like, I would really like to give you the knowledge that I have that I didn't think anybody wanted. And so I'm going to go over here now. If you actually assume that, it's amazing because we're still human. Like, all peers are still human, but we're still intimidating because we're speaking to power. Technically, it's speaking to power, but you need to remember that in the SCA, we're very insecure power because we've never been taught. We're not raised to be a duke or a duchess. We're not raised to be a knight. We're not like all that feudal system bullshit that went along. None of us are doing that. In like my day job is I'm a paralegal. Like that's what I do for a living. Like, if you can remember that and approach the peers, you will find that many of the peers will actually want to like freely give you that information. And so that's how I approach peer fear, and that's how I still approach it because I'm still a student of fighting. I still like one day I would love to be a Laurel, everything else like that. And so this is the one thing that is always treat yourself as a student and treat them as a willing teacher, and you will find that most of the peers will love you till the day is long.
No, that's fair. Yeah, good one.
I mean,
There's my weird soapbox speech of the night. Like,
there was the soapbox. There was your soapbox.
I just am really quickly going to say that I actually was a professional teacher before I got Laurel. And so you do have exactly what you said, Helga, in that the vast majority of people, especially when we're talking anyone who has a mentor-student relationship in the SCA, probably doesn't have the coaching and understanding and education and all of this experience that goes into being an actual teacher mentoring students in the real, quote unquote, real world. But I've also found that a lot of that stuff doesn't necessarily translate into the SCA very easily. So there's a certain amount of like where I came like, oh yeah, I got this apprentice thing down. I can totally like have apprentices. And then I realized it's it's a courtship. It's like a relation trying to like date somebody. It's not, you're just a student who wants to learn from me. It's, we have an actual emotional connection on a, very deep level. And that's what I feel about that. But somebody else may feel completely differently. So it's like the standards change and everything from peer to peer, person to person. But I mean, my peer fear initially was just, I'm not going to be worthy of all of these people's accolades that they've got, and they're going to see me and they're going to judge me as not worthy. And that was the real fear in my part, on my part, which was the fear of being rejected. And I found out, of course, through long exposure to, at one point I was the only non-peer in like my huge circle of friends. And we were, I knew that these people just had, they were everyday people. They were just normal people that had everyday hopes and dreams and fears and all these things. What they had in the SCA that I didn't have didn't diminish me any. And so that was something that I had to get towards, and it did take me a while. But I think it's just exposure. I really do. I think expose yourself to as many people and as broad a scope of people as you possibly can in the SCA, and a lot of that anxiety will go away.
Yeah, it was chasing, it was chasing fighters to teach them everything. Not every fighter wants to be taught, Not, it's so I went far to the other side and was like, well, fine, I won't teach them nothing until they come to me. And then finding that happy medium is like, okay, oh, you want to understand this? Okay, cool. I can teach you that, that's why I think I'm really diving in. I'm seeing so many classes in the world for advanced fighters, but I'm not seeing a lot of classes for welcome to being a fighter in the SCA. So that's kind of where I'm leaning, because I love watching that curve and that sparkle in the eye. When you first teach them, they throw that first flat snap and they throw it correct, and you see that sparkle. It's like, okay, let's do that 100 times. So that's where I want to generate my force now, is into that, to get them to that advanced fighter mode. That's my number one goal when we get back to SCA, is take new fighters and teach new fighters stuff.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Do we want to try to get our one last question in?
Sure.
I think we need to actually wrap it up, because I'm pretty sure we will go way over, and I've got to set up another Zoom meeting.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
15 minutes.
Yeah. She's got another Zoom meeting tonight because she's Miss Popular.
Hey, it was you're invited. Both of you are. I mean, everybody checking.
I'm just giving you shit. So, in closing words, then, we want to say thank you everybody for showing up. Soren, thank you so much for joining us. Your Highness. And we hope to see you all back next week, where we will have Kunahild as our guest.
Yay,
so send in all your awkward questions, because we want to try to make her blush and break her. We have Smithers hands going on right here.
No, I'm just trying to kill a mosquito right now that keeps like buzzing around.
I've been watching you. It's been
So to you two, from everybody out here in the other side that've been watching these and stuff, thank you for this. Thanks for taking your time. Yeah, absolutely. For getting people out here and talking and socializing, and doing this for the joy of it. So thank you. I'm honored to be a guest on here, and I will continue to be a subscriber. So.
I was about to say, subscribe, follow, go from there.
Yeah, we've actually got a
do it.
I'll plug the Facebook page we just created. It's if you look on Facebook, it is Between Two, the number 2 peers. That's our little tag on Facebook. Helga and I will both have the link up. It's still very rough right now. We're working on artwork and content and everything, but if you follow, that's where hopefully future shows will kind of, events will come up. They'll be scheduled as events, but it'll be a weekly show on Friday evenings at 7 p.m. And you can find out all about those things going forward. So thank you, Soren. You are awesome. And it was good to actually just sit and talk, honestly.
Soon we'll do it in person and drink and have fun.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Next best thing. So
remember, always wash your balls, and peers are just as insecure as you are.
Be a gentleman and shave them too.
But never wash your balls.
Oh. Soren, you win. You fucking win. Good night, all.
And on that note, peace out, and we're to your mothers.